Did you know that every problem that you face and every challenge that you have can all be addressed from within? Now, what do I mean by this? Can be addressed from within. Do I mean from the mind? Does the mind solve all problems? That's where we would naturally go, right? That's where our mind, pun intended, naturally leads us to believe that it is the center of all knowledge, that it is the center of all intelligence and problem solving and creativity and whatever problems or challenges that we may come across. If we put our mind to it, then we can ultimately arrive at some sort of a solution. And in many cases, that's true, right? And if you're solving a math problem, for example, and you think about it and you work through the exercise, you can come up with a solution. If you're trying to figure out plans or make travel plans to go somewhere, your mind can help you access the right websites and book the right deals and get the hotel and the car, et cetera, et cetera. So certainly the mind is a very valuable instrument in life, but there's something much deeper than the mind, right? And it's something that we all have. It's not something that, just the wise gurus that have spent 20 years meditating, have naturally cultivated and, others can't cultivate. We all have this gift. And this gift is none other than our intuition, that voice inside us that guides us when even our mind can't. Now, intuition, of course, has a lot of different interpretations and flavors depending on your background, depending on, sort of how you sort of look at the world. But I like to think of intuition as God's voice speaking to us. When we think, when we use our mind, it's not necessarily, in my view, it's not necessarily God speaking to us. God has given us the ability to think and to reason. Of course, that's why we have a mind. But there are times where, the sense of self that we identify as the I or me, there are times when that has been pushed aside and we feel or hear or experience kind of this clear insight, this clear guidance that somehow was staring us right in the face, but we just couldn't see it. We just couldn't perceive it because we were thinking so many different thoughts. We were worried, we were anxious, we were stressed, and we were just lost in this labyrinth of thoughts that we couldn't really see the clear guidance that was emanating from within. Well, this is God, right? This is God trying to send a message through to us. And sometimes there's also actually even kind of a physical reaction to this as well, right? Sometimes I'll feel, uh, no matter how noisy it can be on the outside, and no matter how noisy it can be even in my own mind sometimes, I can sometimes feel like this permeating silence just kind of rushing through my entire body. I'll actually feel goosebumps. I'll feel kind of like this incredible tingling sensation running throughout my entire body. And I've kind of gotten accustomed to it over the years to know that this is the time where I need to be quiet. This is the time where I need to stand still and just surrender to whatever guidance or instruction is being given. And it's happened now so frequently that now I don't try to just wait for it to happen. Now I know that it's there and it can happen as long as I just train my mind to let go, train my mind to step back and let intuition do all the work, right? That's sometimes what we think. We think, well, if we need kind of a moment of creativity, well, then intuition will strike, right? You see this sometimes with songwriters and musicians, or writers, they'll go away to some secluded place for a week and get kind of that inspiration. I've actually done this for my own writing. I've gone, in nature and rented cabins and things of that nature to try to get some inspiration or, kind of a spark of creativity. That's one type of intuition. The intuition that I'm referring to is something that constantly feeds your life every single day, right? It's not something that, you just have this problem, you need God to help you, and then, okay, thank you, God. I've got it from here. My mind is now going to control everything going forward. No, it's you completely allow God to control everything going forward. There's no space or room for the mind to operate. And I know this can sound very confusing at times, right? Because as I'm saying this, I can almost hear my mind trying to find ways to refute this, trying to find ways to poke holes into this, into what it is that I'm saying. But I've known and kind of learned through experience that where the mind often fails, intuition is very quick to pick things up and to piece together all the different, sort of puzzle pieces that need to be put together in order for us to see the solution at hand. Right? Intuition is something, again, as I mentioned, that we all can cultivate, but as long as we are able to surrender, as long as we're able to, number one, identify that this is intuition being given. Because sometimes, especially in the beginning, if we're not trained, we can sometimes confuse that. We can confuse another thought as being intuition, right? And you see this a lot, for example, with relationships and, people trying to date each other and, the initial sort of honeymoon phases where you're getting to know someone else and, you're trying to interpret everything, their every move, their every sentence, their every text. And your thoughts can be giving you so many different advice. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I send them flowers? Not send them flowers? Should I call them? Not call them? Right? And you get all this conflicting advice. When in reality, it's just, if you just be calm, God will give you the answer. Right? If you can just manage to silence everything, the answer will appear. Part of the reason why we suppress our intuition or flat out don't even recognize that it's there is because we're afraid of making a mistake. And we think that our mind can fix everything. We think that our mind, it knows the answer to everything. Right? One of the worst things you can ever do to someone that is so influenced by their ego, is to question their ability to do things, like, by saying you can't do this, or, there is sort of that inherent belief in a lot of us, especially those of us who are probably need a little bit more time to raise their awareness. There is kind of this belief that my mind can do anything and I can solve anything, and I am the master of my life, right? And for those people that subscribe to those beliefs, it's very, very difficult to listen to your intuition. And so they try to do things the hard way. They try to do things without the help of God, without the instruction of God. Whereas those who are calm, whereas those who surrender themselves and who listen quietly and who wait patiently, they're the ones that flow with God's guidance. And they never have any regrets. They don't make any mistakes. They make the best decision possible at that moment, no matter how difficult it is. It could be a simple decision as what to wear the next day, or it could be a difficult decision as deciding who you're going to marry or whether or not you're going to stick with your partner. These are really, really difficult decisions that can sometimes tear us apart, that can really just make us go mental sometimes. But it doesn't have to make us go mental. We don't have to bear this weight on our shoulders when God is the ultimate solver of every single problem in our life. After all, God is the one that created the problems. Therefore, God knows how to solve the problems. For every pain, for every illness, for every difficulty, for every challenge, there's a cure, there's an antidote, there's a solution. As long as we manage to just surrender ourselves to God's wisdom, to God's grace. So I hope you guys got a little bit of a deeper understanding of intuition, its role in our lives, and how it can fundamentally change the way we live, the way we move forward. And of course, there's a lot of different ways to cultivate this intuition. I didn't touch into, some of the specific ways, but, try to see if you can, rather than jumping to the answer and trying to, If you have a series of problems that you face, right, and we all have problems, right? There's even someone who is quote unquote awakened, there's always some sort of challenges that they'll still face even after such awakening. Whatever these challenges are, write them down on a list and look at them on a paper and see and feel if you can find your intuition guiding you towards that path. See if there's something that can be inspired from within rather than trying to just use your mind, use your faculty of cognition. See if there's something that when you can calm yourself, when you can be still, when you can be silent. See if there's something that can rise from within. And sometimes they may not happen right away, right? And that's okay. I think sometimes we have this impatience that, oh, I got to figure it out. I got to solve this. I got to respond back to that text. I got to, jump on this offer. I got to, those things will be there still, right? It's very rarely the case where you'll miss an opportunity if you don't act now, right? The world will like you to think that that's the case, but very often that's not the case. Take your time. Be calm, be silent. And if you need to practice anything spiritually that can help you sort of ground yourself and connect with God, whether that's meditation, prayer, affirmations, going out in nature, being involved in some sort of a faith organization or group, whatever it may be, to help you raise that awareness that God is living here with us every single moment of our lives. He is here right now. He is actually between us, through us, around us, of us, right? God is everything. God is here right now. And he is the ultimate source of this intuition that you and I benefit from. So I hope this sheds some more light into it. I promise I won't make this video longer than it needs to be, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Also, if you have any thoughts and have some helpful ways that might help the rest of our group here, please share those as well. I'm sure we'd all love to hear those and to come together as a unit and as a community to be able to grow and awaken together. As always, if you like the video, please drop a like. It definitely does help with the algorithms and all the other things that help YouTube decide whether or not to show a video to someone. And also, please feel free to check out some of the other videos on this channel. Certainly, there's been a lot of evolution in the videos. I've kind of referenced this in some of my other videos. But I hope there's something, a little something for everyone, for you specifically. Something that will resonate with you and something that kind of aligns with where you are on your own spiritual journey. But with that, thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.